Do you ever listen to an album for the first time and not really like it, but then you go back to it a little while later and it's actually the best thing ever? This happens to me a lot, probably because of my younger age and rapidly developing music taste. The genres that I've considered good have rapidly expanded in the past 2 years, going from only liking electronic or nerdy music to liking basically every genre. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have my favorite genres and preferences, but now I think any genre has the opportunity to win me over. I probably have at least a few songs from most genres on my playlist, but when exploring new genres, you have to start somewhere, and usually that first listen isn't going to be that eye-opening. Here's how it goes. I listen to an album, I think 1 or 2 tracks are good, but the rest is just okay or bad. Those 1 or 2 tracks that I like grow on me, like you couldn't even imagine over the next month. This makes me want to revisit the album, and when I do revisit the album, everything clicks. And I realize that this is actually one of the best things ever. I've never listened to something this good before. And I didn't even like it at first. So I'm going to talk about the albums that grew on me like this. And you should share your similar experiences in the comments because I'm really curious to hear other people's albums that grew on them. So yeah, without further ado, these are just albums that grew on me. A lot. A lot. Cherry Bomb is probably Tyler Creator's most controversial album in terms of sound. I'm specifying in terms of sound because obviously stuff on Goblin is more controversial than anything on here, but Tyler fans seem pretty torn between loving this album and hating it. And you can easily see why people wouldn't like this album. It's really all over the place, having some relaxing songs and some absolutely insane ones. When I first listened to this album, I wasn't really too big on it, with me only liking Death Camp and, well, that's actually the only song I liked. Something that annoyed me was how a lot of the songs were quote-unquote bad with a really amazing part at the end, with me using the title track as an example. But a week later, I yearned for the last part of the song. I ended up listening to the title track on a car ride over and over, just for the last bit. And listening to it over and over made me appreciate the whole thing more and more. This basically happened with every other song on the album over time. It slowly turned into one of the most interesting and fun albums I've ever listened to. Today, this is one of my top 5 favorite albums ever, and my favorite Tyler album in general. As weird as an opinion that is, I really love how it's a mix of Flower Boy and Wolf. It makes sense considering that was made in between them, but it's just so crazy how it sounds exactly like both albums combined, and I just love it. Honestly, I'm surprised this channel has lasted this long without me talking about Underscores. Underscores is one of my favorite music artists ever. Everything she's released since her first album, Fishmonger, has been fantastic. Her second album, WALLSOCKET, is actually my favorite album ever. I think it's the album that I've spent the most time with and an album that is infinitely replayable for me. Hearing me say all this makes it hard to believe that at first, I gave this album a mediocre 6 out of 10. So, what happened to change my opinion from such a low score to a perfect 10 out of 10? Well, I feel like I have to mention my expanding music taste again. At the time, I was still adapting my ears to certain sounds, but that's so boring. One thing that helped this album grow on me was learning the story behind it. Knowing it was a concept album and understanding what it meant encouraged me to go back to it, and I've tried it again with this knowledge. At first, I only liked the singles basically. I like Cops and Robbers, Locals, and Jeez Louise for some reason. You Don't Even Know Who I Am was also pretty good, but I didn't put it into my playlist for whatever reason. But once again, the more I listened to the album, the more it got put into my playlist. Doing this so many times where I not only loved the whole album, but thought it was one of the best and most creative things I'd ever listened to. Jeez Louise went on to be my favorite song of all time, and the album as a whole has changed my thoughts on music in general, and that's kind of really impressive. JPEG Mafia as an artist has really grown on me in the last year. I feel like he's the poster child for albums that have grown on me, with basically every album of his being okay at first and then getting better and better. I was choosing to talk about either this album or Scaring the I don't know if I can say that word. But I chose this album because the way it grew on me was much more interesting. Last year, I made a video talking about every album I listened to in 2024. In that video, I gave I Laid Down My Life For You a 7 out of 10. I don't even understand how I didn't like this album that much. I liked the opener a lot, and Sin Miedo made me cry for some reason. That song was so good to me. I don't know what he put in that, but Sin Miedo is outstanding, and I knew that on my first listen. That was about it though. I appreciated this album more than I liked it, and this time it took a full year for me to come around. Almost a year after it came out, I listened to it again because I had started to enjoy other albums from him more, and I'm glad I did. I was sleeping on so many of these songs. New Black History used to be my least favorite song, but now it's like top 5 in the whole album. I actually do understand not liking this one at first, but whatever. Don't Put Anything on the Bible has been on loop recently. The switch up is amazing, and I think JPEG's verse is one of my favorites of his. All that along with an insanely relaxing and impressive instrumental. Once again, this is now one of my favorite albums, and definitely my favorite from JPEG Mafia. GECS is like the definition of a group that needs to grow on you. Their sound is nowhere near being for everyone, and I imagine that most people who check them out aren't used to this insane sound yet. And the truth is, some people just might not like the sound, not on the first listen or ever after. I've been training my ears on some crazy music for the past 2 years, but when I first listened to the 10,000 GECS, I did not understand it. I like the songs that you would expect me to like. I like Dumbest Girl Alive and Hollywood Baby. That's literally it. After a few days, I liked I Got My Tooth Removed as well, but that was just because I thought it was funny. I once again gave this a 7 out of 10, saying that I liked some of it and I appreciated it, but it simply wasn't my thing. And yeah, I was wrong. This album is totally my thing. Last year, I went to the beach, and for some reason, I turned on this album again, and it half clicked for me. I liked more songs, like 757, The Most Wanted Person in the United States, and especially Doritos and Fritos, which has since become my beach song, and the song that I associate with that trip. Eventually, I came around to the whole album, with every song being outstanding to me. I completely understand not loving this album, and I think more people should give it another shot. There's a chance your opinion could be completely different. I really need to make a full video on TV Girl someday, because they're a band that fascinates me so much. My history with them is actually really interesting. Who Really Cares was one of the first albums I tried to check out. This was when I haven't really listened to music before and was just now getting into it. I have little memory of this, but I know I somehow found the album and I tried to listen to some of it. And I actually didn't find it interesting, which is mind-blowing, by the way. I am baffled how I listened to Taking What's Not Yours and didn't immediately fall in love. But a year later, I wanted to check it out one more time, and I still didn't like it, actually. I guess I just wasn't ready for it yet. This time, I did love Taking What's Not Yours and Not Allowed, along with liking Song About Me. Taking What's Not Yours blew my mind, man. I was going insane trying to find a song that could recreate its magic. I am telling you, the only reason I kept listening to Who Really Cares was me trying to find something like Taking What's Not Yours that I could have missed. And it's surprising to nobody, this process caused the album to grow on me. And yes, I did find another song in the album that I'm obsessed with, and that's Loving Machine. But I do think every song on this album is really good, and I will forever adore the unique vibe it presents. I have so much to say about TV Girl and their other albums, so comment if you want me to make a video about that, but yeah, this album has crazy history for me. That was the main albums that have grown on me. I obviously have more of these, but the others grew on me to a less extreme degree. What do you think about these albums? Comment albums that grew on you too, because That would be pretty cool. Subscribe to me too. Yeah.